Hello. I just want to come on. I know a lot of you guys are probably sleeping right now. It is about almost 11 in the morning here. Just want to come up and say hi and figure this out on my phone. And it is pretty complicated, but I'm just going to share. Hey guys, I know it has been forever. I think the last time I wanted to let you guys know, and most people follow me on Facebook and my Patreon account and kind of know what's going on. I just wanted to let you guys know that I'm still alive. Woohoo! For those of you who don't know the story, my chickens are just kind of moving next to me. I don't know if you can see them, but there they are. We call them Furiosa and Hey Hey. Gerald chose Furiosa for the gray one because she's kind of feisty. And Leah chose Hey Hey, just like Moana's chicken. Anyway, as you can tell, I am in a new location. Life has been, for the past year and a half, challenging, just being human, and challenging to say the least. About 3 years ago, Gerald and I decided to move. We live in a very busy, I mean, Belgium is just really busy. And the vibration of Belgium really wasn't working for me anymore. I'm an empath, and the energy there is very, for me, was very destructive. I had no nature to go and re-energize myself. And man, I need nature on a daily basis. That is my medicine. I had a tiny little garden. I constantly felt claustrophobic because no matter where you go, where I lived, it's brick, 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 and more brick. And it's just there's hardly any green spots. And if you do have a green spot that you can go to, it's so crowded with people because everybody's looking for that nature, that there's just too much energy for me and I just can't handle it. It's just too many thoughts coming in, too many feelings that I pick up of everyone walking around. And it's, I needed to, in a way, run away to a place where I had my own private piece of nature, and I could recuperate, and I could re-energize and rebalance, because I was not in a good place. Energetically, mentally, I was fine. It's just energetically, I was all over the place, and I just kept getting sick and sick and sick. And I've been getting sick here too, although not as often. But that's just because I'm stressing myself over stuff, and I'm not surrendering. And then I get smacked in the face by the universe, and the universe says, "Will you stop it already?" Because I'm just a stubborn Aries. That's just, being an empath and an Aries is not a good combo. Next time you pick a life, don't pick that combo. It doesn't work. But right now 3 years ago, we decided we needed to go. And we looked everywhere. We went, the first place we looked at was, of course, America, because Gerald's American. But with all the restrictions that Trump had created, basically getting a visa was not going to happen. Because what many people might not know is what President Trump did is he canceled all the embassy things in Belgium. So I literally, for a lot of things, I needed social security numbers for my kids, or they weren't allowed to travel there. I needed to go to Ireland, and I needed to go to Paris, and I needed to go to all these, places that takes hours and hours and hours of travel and lots of money to do so. So we decided to then look into Canada, because Canada has a lot of nature. It's pretty cold though, which I'm not a big fan of the cold, but I'm also not a big fan of really hot places. So I like it just in between. But Canada looked like a great place to be in. Could be wrong, I don't know. You just don't know until you live there. So we looked in there, but I couldn't get a visa, or we couldn't get a visa as a family. They're very strict in Canada who they let in, although people don't think that, but it is. There's only certain visas you can apply for, and I applied to none of them because I just couldn't. You needed either to have an employer or a family, or I couldn't, I didn't tick any of the boxes, so that wasn't an option then. So then we started looking into Europe. Oh no, first we went to South Africa. And that was very far away. There were different things on that. I don't know, it didn't feel right. The energy there felt unbalanced, although it's a beautiful place. And financially, exchanging euros into South African money would have been great. But for some reason, the universe went, didn't feel right. So then we looked into Europe, and then we looked into Norway and Sweden and Switzerland, and all the places were unaffordable. We live on a very small income, believe it or not. People think I make millions doing this. We barely make it every month because most of the stuff I do for free. And I can only handle a few channelings a week because my channelings are partially trance channelings where the spirit a lot of times takes over my body, which it's a heavy toll on your physical body. Your physical body is not meant to vibrate in that higher frequency. So I can only do very limited sessions, and therefore I can't work a 9 to 5 day. I work 1, maybe 2 hours a day, and then the rest of the day I'm answering emails, giving free advice, doing my Patreon posts, trying to keep everyone happy on Facebook, and so on and so forth. And then doing the trance channelings, which takes about 2 weeks for me to practice with the spirit so they can completely take over. And they just kind of do their thing. I'm still there, but they do their thing and they say what they need to say. And that takes daily about 2 hours that I practice with that one spirit. People think it's just a button that you can just, and I think that's the biggest, and maybe for some people it is, but for me it's not. Maybe some people, I don't know, just say whatever comes in their minds. I can't do that. I can't pretend, and I don't want the messages to be me. Look at me, here I am pouring out my heart to you. I'm not that kind of person. I'd rather cancel a session if I feel like the connection isn't right than just say whatever just to get the session over with. I can't. It goes against everything that I am. I just can't. For me, messages have to be right. They have to be from somebody else than me. They can't come from me. They're not allowed to come from me because I'm just human. There's my daughter. I'm just human, and I make mistakes, and I should listen to my team more often, but I'm too stubborn because, sit down, because I'm an Aries. Oh, Lord. I'm just so stubborn. I feel bad for my team. They're always like, don't do that, don't. And I'm always like, yeah, but that's the direction I want to go into. And then they go, and then I get into a lower vibration. And I'm like, damn it, should have listened to him. Hello. And then I don't see him anymore, or I don't hear him anymore. Hey, baby. Hey, you come and say hello? You're not scared of the chickens today? And anyway, where was I? Okay, sex. You preach your sex. Okay. Anyway, I've gone off. I don't even know what I was talking about. I'm just sitting here pulling weed. Look at my house. There's the house. So anyway, I get distracted very often. Oh my God, it's pointless. People think I got it all together. I don't. I'm just as big as a mess as each and every one of you. I just hear spirits. That's it. And they annoy me at night really badly. Like they keep me out of my sleep. I tell them not to. I tell them to leave. Leah has the same problem. Every day she'll be like, there's a spirit. She's scared of him. I'm trying to teach her not to be scared of him. Yesterday there was a Lisa here. She was standing outside. Okay, Mommy, do her talking. Okay. Anyway, so we looked into Europe, Sweden, Switzerland, Norway, Holland, everywhere, and pretty much Europe's unaffordable. We could not afford any of it. So then my friend Pam invites me to France. She and her husband Tony live here. And they go, hi, why don't you just take a week off? What are you talking about? Come on, Mom. Yeah, come on, Mama. Why don't you go inside? Go see Daddy. Go see Daddy so Mommy can talk to the people. Anyway, ignore my daughter. She never listens to me either. She's as stubborn as me. But anyway, she sees spirits, which is kind of cool. Jada, no idea. Anyway, so Europe was pretty much unaffordable. Here goes Pam. She goes, hey, why don't you come and just take a week for yourself, I worked 7 days a week at that time. Never took a moment for myself. I worked from 10 a.m. to 12, trying to answer everybody's emails and questions and helping people with, recent loss, children who disappeared. Did you find anything? Do you hear anything? Trying to tap into that to help out as much as I can. And just so we go to France. We go visit Pam and Tony. We have a great time, and I really liked the energy here. People were friendly, and there's so much nature. And to our big surprise, it was pretty affordable here to buy a property. So 2 years later, we put up our house on the market. Too late, of course. Eric told me, he told me in 2019, you have to put your house up on the market before August, or else you're not going to get it sold quick enough. or as quick as I would like it. But that didn't work in my schedule. So I didn't listen to him. He told me, well, starting January, the market's going to collapse. It's going to collapse. And I was like, no, don't tell me that. He's like, well, I told you. You didn't listen. And I was like, okay. So anyway, I was trying to stay hopeful that it wasn't going to happen. I did my predictions in December of 2019, where one of the predictions was a global event will, if I remember correctly, a global event was going to basically shut down the world, which I was like, are we going to get another war or what's going on? I didn't get much information. They just said it was going to shut up down everything, blah, 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 gave us some extra information. Don't remember what it was exactly. You'll have to go look for it on my Facebook page. I do predictions on every year on my Patreon, and I've got about 90% accuracy, which is scary because a lot of the things are not good things. And predictions are meant to warn people so we can change the energy, so we can change the outcome, because we do have that power. Unfortunately, it needs to be done on a collective scale, which is tough right now because humans are so divided. So yeah, Eric was right. As usual, I should have listened. I didn't put my house up. So it took us an extra, I think, 7 or 8 months to get our house sold. But eventually we got the house sold. And so we went to France during a pandemic, which was scary. Find ourselves a home. And then we found a little location, which was small. You know, the house was not very large. It was small, but the yard was very adorable. And it had outbuildings that were, no fighting in there, little birdies. They're having an argument. Little sparrows are having an argument. Thank you. So we put up an offer, and with the money that we had left over from the house that we'd been paying off in Belgium for 10 years, we only needed about 100,000 euros, which for a bank is not a big loan. So we thought, no, that is easy peasy. Every bank is going to give us that amount of money. And then shit hit the fan. And my Belgian bank said, well, we can't give you a loan. This is for a property in France. That's not going to work. So my Belgian bank didn't want to cooperate. And then all the French banks told us, nope, sorry, your husband's American. We don't loan to Americans. And we were like, what? That's kind of racist somehow. We were like, we did not see that coming. We were like, well, now what do we do? Because we'd been looking and looking and looking and hadn't found anything except for that one location. So we do what we do best as humans. We crash. We start crying. I got mad at the universe. I do that every time. It's my thing. You know, something goes bad, I get mad for a day. I get mad, I get sad, I get frustrated. I tell my team and my universe to fuck themselves. Go figure it out yourself then. And then after a day, I start to calm down and I go, okay, hold up. So, you know, people, allow yourself to have that one day of crash and burn, okay? Just don't get stuck in it. That's what I've learned. Don't get stuck in it. But allow yourself to have that human moment. We all need it. We need to vent. We need to get angry. We need to feel disappointed, because then, you know, we learn and we grow and we get stronger. It's just how it is, you know. So anyway, had my crash and burn thing. And then I was like, okay, there's got to be a reason why we're not getting this. And because I was feeling very low, I don't hear my team, right? You only hear your team when you're feeling really when you're in a good place. I was not in a good place. I was angry. I was upset. I was twisting those emotions around to trying to be positive. So I asked the universe for a sign or some kind of explanation. And of course, Pam, my trusted friend, was the conduit for that answer. And she called me up and she said, yeah, but hey, wait a minute. Didn't you tell the universe you wanted to be independent? You didn't want to be connected to societal.
Hey, Mama.
What?
Come on, Mama.
Look around. Yeah, I know it's pretty, but Mommy's talking. So we wanted to be as independent as possible. We, you know, Gerald and I are not a big fan of societal norms and society and global. I love people, but I don't like how everything is restricted. I don't like how everybody else can tell me how to live my life, what to do with it, and so on and so forth. So the other reason why Gerald and I wanted to, Mama, can I please talk? Go. Mama will come and get you in a bit. We'll go for a walk then. Yeah. Okay. So the other reason we wanted to come is not just for nature and not just to, you know, if a place is more affordable, we can live a little bit more comfortable on the low income we have. But we also wanted to be as independent as possible. That's why we wanted a lot of land, because we want to grow our own fruit, our own vegetables, really become as independent as possible, self-providing, and teaching you guys how to do it, even if you have a small garden. I want to learn how to make my own medicine. Yes, I want to become like a witch, and if you want to look at it that way, because that's what they were. They were just healers, using nature as their medicine. I want to learn how to make my own medicine. I want to teach you guys how to do that with teas and herbs and all of that stuff. That was part of the dream. So she rings me up and she says, but hey, you told the universe you wanted to be independent, and now you want to get a loan with a bank that's going to hold that above your head for what, 20 years? So I was like, yeah, that is true. So she's like, well, why don't you just go look for a property that you can pay in cash with the money that you get when you finalize the sale of your house? And I was thinking, yeah, that would be great, but finding a property with that much land without buildings that we can turn into a gite or a B&B for you guys to stay with us, and having a house on the property for that small amount of money, I think we had like, in total, I think we had 70,000 euros, because we paid off the house for 10 years and we sold it for 20,000 more than we bought it. So 70,000 euros is not a lot of money. My tiny little matchbox house in Belgium cost me 160,000. Not including notary costs. So I was like, impossible. That is impossible. And she's like, well, you're just gonna have to let the universe guide you. And I was like, fine. So we started driving around and we started looking for homes that were at a very low price. And we visited them, and they were ready to be bulldozed down and start over. That's basically what it was. So we were, looking and looking, feeling more and more disappointed with it each day that went by. And then I found this ad online. I don't know, it just popped up. And we're like, well, let's go see that then. And I wanted 70,000 for it. So it was just at our budget. And we came down here and we just had an instant click. There's a ton of work, and half of the time I worry that parts are going to collapse if I don't get the money in time, which, is running out right now, because the home is stable, but it's the inside. Everything needed to be redone. The roof was leaking. Electricity was unsafe and outdated, no longer turn, you know, basically it needed to be redone or you get a fine. Plumbing needed to be redone. There was no bathroom barely. Toilet wasn't flushing because it's a septic tank. I love you too, baby. You gonna go play with your step? Okay, go for it. So it was, you know, there was a ton of work, and I was like, you know, for this to work, because it wasn't livable at the right away, and we needed money to fix it up, to make it just livable, not even nice, but just livable. So we have a shower, a toilet that works, electricity that works, heating, and it's somewhat okay. So we knew we needed to go down on the price. So I was like, they're never gonna go, yeah, we're just gonna go low, and we can always go up. So we offered them, I think, 55,000 of 70. And they took it. They said yes, and it had been on the market for a year. Maybe that's why, I don't know. Or maybe, you know, I saw the owner when we came and looked at the house, and we just clicked. There was just something there. We just clicked, and now we're like bestest friends. She helps me with everything. Her and her husband and her entire family have kind of adopted us in their family. It's amazing. You know, I haven't seen this kind of, you know, neighborly kindness and ever. I've never experienced it that way. So that was new to me. But then we were talking, me and my neighbor, and it started to make sense why I was guided here. So in France, they're still pretty religious, very superstitious as well. And I didn't tell the neighbor what I really did. I just told him, you know, I was a life coach and I help people, which is true. I am a life coach, and I do help people on a monthly basis, trying to help them overcome things, fears, anxieties, all kinds of stuff. So that's part of my job, but I didn't tell them the one part because I didn't know how they were going to react. And I know that, you know, here it's still very much taboo. So here's my neighbor, 70 years old, and I think somewhere in their 60s. And so she starts telling me about her parents who built this house from scratch, how they struggled after World War II, how her dad was imprisoned. He was a soldier. He went to the Ardennes in Belgium to fight. He was taken captive there, so he was a prisoner of war for 8 years. 8 years he was imprisoned. How they built everything up, how they first lived in this old sheet, how they then built this, you know, year after year, saving money, doing hard labor, making this into a working farm where they had 2 horses plowing the field. And, you know, you can only picture it in your head, you know, the sweat and the tears and the love that they put into this place. And she told me her mom was very spiritual. Very spiritual. She used mediums to help her. She used energy healers to fix her back, and so on and so forth. And I was like, you know, for the 1930s, 40s, 50s, I mean, that's using mediums and energy healers. That was pretty, that was, you know, not done back then. That was taboo. But she was, apparently, her mom was very spiritual and passed it on to her. And as she was talking about it, I was like, oh. So I told her, well, I communicate to the dead. And she's like, oh my God, that's so cool. And she gave me a picture of her mom and her dad, and she gave me a picture of the husband of her sister who passed away. And I started communicating to those spirits and telling him all these little details and how they were, and they were so excited. You should have seen their faces. So she tells me, you were guided here by my parents. They wanted you to use this area to do what you do because, one, my mom was very spiritual. She would help people with that stuff and everything, which was always very hush-hush back then, but it was done. And she says, two, my dad loved Americans. He loved Americans. Why? Because after 8 years in prison in the Belgian Ardennes, he was rescued by the American soldiers. So he was always in awe and couldn't talk good enough about all the good the Americans did for them and how they saved them. And so year after year, he would tell his story about how the Americans were such good people that they saved him. So, she kept, it was so funny because she was like, British people came, Australians came. No, it was always no. Either I said no or they said no. And then here comes a medium with an American husband. It was just meant to be, she said. So it made sense, It made sense. Okay. Her parents approved of us to use this to become a spiritual resort. Because one, Gerald was American, not British or Australian. Sorry, guys. I can see why he would think that, I mean, when you've been in prison for 8 years as a soldier in World War II, yeah, I can see why you would praise the Americans for saving you. And then her mom being so open to spirituality and energy healing and magnetism and all kinds of stuff she did. So, I don't know, that just shows you, even if you're not getting the house that you thought was going to be your dream house, the universe has different plans for you. The universe knows better. It always does. We just need to learn to trust it more, and even I do. I still need to learn. I trust it a lot, but I haven't got to the point where I can just completely relax and totally surrender. I'm working on that. So anyway, that's how we got this place. That's the story behind the previous owners. And it was kind of funny because I saw the picture of the previous owners, her mom and dad, and her father was really tall, and she was like this little lady, and it reminded me of me. I was like, that's me and Gerald right there. She's a little chubby lady, just like me. I'm a little chubby lady. And he was a tall, strong man, just like Gerald. So I was like, how funny. I wonder if we are reincarnated. They told me no, but I don't know. I think we might have a connection there. But anyway, that's how we got to the house, and that's why they said yes right away, I guess, to our very, very low offer. So we bought a really large house that has 4 bedrooms, really large rooms, huge kitchen. I mean, for me, it's huge. We have an entire second house, which is right there. Let's see if I can turn this around. The entire second house right there, which the roof on this side of the roof is okay, but on the other side, the holes in the roof are so big that water's leaking. It has been seeping in for years. I am really worried that the beams are going to start rotting under the roof and it's going to collapse. Unfortunately, I just don't have the money to fix up the roof. Yeah. So it was fun. Did you have fun? That's good. So I worry about that all the time, which I know I shouldn't. The universe will help me out, but I don't know. I still worry. I'm only human. And then we have, let's see here. We have some buildings there, little barns. We have a huge hangar here, which I would like to close up and turn into an event space. And then have 2 horses in the back there. There's 2 stables on that side and one on the other side, which I want to use for 2 horses to do horse therapy for autistic kids. And then I have this building here, which is also a barn, which I am currently making a new door for. Yes, I bought a saw, never used it. I've never used a saw like that before. And I am making a brand new door for my chickens. And later maybe some goats, something for the kids. I don't know. Let's see here. How do I turn that over? There we go. So I have huge plans with a small wallet. And this is a huge trust exercise. Huge for me to just have faith that it will all, because that hanger, part of it is seeping in and the beams are like going like that. So I am completely and utterly afraid that that's going to collapse as well, because if that does, then woo, that's an extra cost. Anyway, but we did get the house, which is over there. We got the house to a livable state. It looks awful. It's not cozy. Doesn't feel like home yet, but we have running water. We can take a shower. Our shower's installed. It's not finished yet, but it's installed. We have plumbing. The toilet goes okay for now. Septic tank hasn't been used in 7 years, so I think there's some blockages there. Let's hope it holds, because if I have to replace that, that's another $10,000, which I don't have. We got heating. We have no insulation in the roof yet, which normally they should come in May to do that, because our heating's just going straight out the roof, because it's, yeah, don't ask. There's a new roof, but you know, it's not closed up or anything like that. So, so much stuff to do. But I'm in a beautiful area. See? I don't know if you can see, there's so much sun in my face. I got lots of grass. I have a ton of land. There's a whole piece of land behind the house, a whole piece of land over there. Land everywhere. Beautiful trees that are blooming, flowers everywhere, and lots of sunlight, which is what I need for my vitamin D. Anyway, I should probably start making lunch pretty soon and making homemade lasagna. Yes, I am a good cook. Thank you, Dad, for giving that to me. So anyway, we bought the house. We started the work. The basics were almost done. And then I received a phone call on Valentine's Day saying that my dad was rushed to the hospital because he had problems breathing. I talked to him that night, told him I was going to ask healing, and I did. You guys sent healing and did everything you could. The next day, he seemed a little bit better. They had him on oxygen. And then they did some scans of his lungs, and they discovered he had far advanced lung cancer. Or at least that's what they told us. We never saw any scans. We never saw anything. You just have to take their word for it. So, whatever. And then I talked to him a couple of times that day. And then the second day in the hospital, I got a call in the morning from the doctor saying, you know, your dad is dying. There's nothing we can do for him. And we're going to allow your mom and your brother to come and say goodbye to him. You need to tell him. So I talked to my dad that morning still, before the doctor called. And my dad always, he always made things, he never wanted anybody to worry. So he's like, oh, you know, he said, I don't think it's going well. I don't feel great. Yes, honey. And he says, I don't know how much longer I can hold on. And yeah, I didn't want to give up, you know. So, you know, I told him, you know, the mind is more powerful than the body. But I think my dad just wanted to go home. He just wasn't happy, and the corona thing really, my dad's a very social person, so all the restrictions were driving him crazy. And he did have a cough for several months. It wasn't going away. The doctor said it was just a chronic bronchitis. But with all restrictions, you know, they don't want to do tests anymore on people because they just want everyone to die. So the population gets less. It's just population control. That's all it is. So he died, I think, 2 hours later after I talked to him. And thank God for the nurses. They turned a FaceTime on, and I was talking to him. He was breathing very shallow, and you know, I know he could hear me, but he was unconscious, I think. And he waited till my mom and my brother got there, who rushed to the hospital. Although they were tested positive for COVID, they were still allowed to go see him, which was a blessing. They weren't sick. They just tested positive, but you know, I don't trust those tests. Hello. And I talked to my dad while my mom and my brother were rushing to the hospital, and I said, you know, they're coming, you gotta hold on so they can say goodbye to you, they need it. And I told them, you know, they're waiting for you in heaven, but you gotta hold on. So he did. And my brother and my mom went there, all suited up in the hospital. They had a whole thing on. And they were there, and they said their thing, and they said their piece. And my brother and my mom both said together, it's okay, Dad, you can go home now. And a minute later, his heart stopped. So I know he's in a good place. It's just, he never got to see this, you know. I wanted him to be proud of me, and I know he's proud, but I know he would have loved this place, because people here are so social, and they, you know, I get invited for coffee everywhere in the street. You know, these are strangers, but everybody asks me for coffee and come and talk. He would have loved it here, and all the wine he could drink. He loved wine, and he never got a chance to see it. And I know he can see it now, but that's the human ego. You know, you want to see your parents' face, and you want to get that hug, and you want to get that approval. And that's just a human ego, because intellectually I know he's here, but it's just not the same. I wanted to sit out watching the stars, because there's no lights here. In Belgium, everything's lit up, so you can't see any stars. You can barely see the North Pole star. Here, there's a million stars, because there's no lights anywhere, nowhere. It's pitch black at night. so you can see all the stars and the aliens pass by. My dad and I, when I was a kid, we used to sit in the garden, look for aliens. Oh, thank you, honey. Thank you, baby. Thank you.
Are you crying?
I'm crying because I'm thinking of Grandpa. I'm sorry. Anyway, he would have loved it here. I think if he would have showed up, he would have never left. And I think one day my mom will come and stay with us or live here with us. I have that feeling. She's going to love it here too. Anyway, after that, you know, things got, got really hard because my dad died 2 days before we moved in. Thank you. Okay, thank you. 2 days before we moved in. And then I had set up sessions with people before my dad died, starting April, 1st of April, and I moved in, I think, 2 days before my birthday, so on the 26th. So here was, my mom was collapsing. She hasn't been alone since she was 16. She's been with my dad since she was 16. She's now 65, I think, or 63. 63. Sorry, Mom. My dad died when he was 65, so he wasn't that old. And she basically, according to the doctor, had PTSD. She couldn't, her brain was shutting down. She could think straight. She was confused. She kept repeating the same things over and over. So here I was. I couldn't go to Belgium because of all the restrictions. I couldn't go to the funeral. I couldn't be there to help my mom out. Her accounts were blocked, as they do when somebody dies here in Europe. They block all your accounts. So I had to pay my mom's bills, help her out that way, online, until everything was de-blocked, which luckily now it is. My brother was collapsing, and all I could do was just talk to him all day long online, trying to keep everybody going. And my brother, he did so much work trying to arrange everything. I'm so proud of him for helping Mom out. And I just try to help everyone. And then on top of that, I was to do my readings, and I was still working on the house, trying to get it somewhat decent. I put hay in my hair. And I did a few sessions, and they went okay. But then I just kind of collapsed. It just became too much, because on one day I received a whole bunch of emails from Belgium, from France, and this wasn't working, and that wasn't working, and this paperwork wasn't working. Hold on, baby. So all of a sudden I was thrown a bunch of stuff in my face of everything that wasn't working, and it just all came on one day. I was audited by the Belgian government for my business because they don't understand how somebody can survive on such a small income. Well, it's called, I get a lot of child support money because my children are both handicapped. That's an income on its own. We live with small means. I don't go shopping. We don't go on vacation. We only buy necessities. Anyway, that's solved now. I gave them all the stuff. See, I showed them everything. I got nothing to hide. I'm an honest person. Try to do the right thing, and then they still attack you. They don't go after the multi-million-dollar companies, though. They do a whole bunch of shit they shouldn't be doing. Anyway, they always go after little guys. So I had to deal with that, and I had to deal with the fact that the French government was making problems about my French license plates, registration of my car, and the paperwork here is horrible in Europe. Anywhere, Belgium, France, anywhere. Horrible. Tons of paperwork. They're never happy. They're never satisfied. You have to redo it a million times. And all of that stuff. Calm. So, I don't know. It's just a bunch of stuff. And then health insurance here wasn't working out. And this and that. And I was like, what the hell? It's like everything just kind of collapsed all at the same time. And I just kind of collapsed with it. And so the universe forced me to take a break and again cancel all the people that I have been canceling forever and ever. Some people have been waiting for a canceled session since 2019. I feel horrible about it, but it's just, I can't, there's nothing I could do. When my energy is not in the right place, it's hard for me to channel anything. So, my advice, don't move during a pandemic. Because then everything's restricted. We had curfews. We still have a curfew. 7 p.m. is a curfew. Everybody has to be at home by 7. It used to be 6. Doesn't look like the curfew is leaving until June. So, there's my story. It's the 1st of May. I cannot believe it's already the 1st of May. We moved here. Well, we got the keys on the 1st of December. I bought 2 chickens because I needed some animals around me. My guinea pig's still at my mom's. All our stuff is still at my mom's on her attic. All our personal things, the clothes we're wearing is just work clothes because that's all we brought. Because we thought in January we're going to go with a big van and move all our stuff here. Unfortunately, we're May and we still don't have any of our stuff. We're still kind of just on survival mode. We just have basics so we can survive, but that's it. We don't even have television. Luckily, we have internet. Woo! But we have a beautiful place. Well, it's going to be beautiful one day. In my head, it's beautiful. Doesn't look great right now, but in my head, it's beautiful. But I got a ton of animals. We got foxes and chickens and birds. And I see wild rabbits pass by my field sometimes. And we have beautiful surroundings. There's beautiful places here to visit. That keeps me company. Anyway, I took the rest of April to just kind of rebalance, and I feel like I'm starting to get there. Starting to surrender again. I saw my dad during a dream just once, but he was there. I know it was real. Sometimes I hear him in my head when I'm doing construction work. Don't put the paint on so thick. It needs to be thinner. So he gives me building advice. Just wish he would give me advice on life. But Leah's doing much better. Leah's finally out of diapers. It only took 8 years. She wore diapers all day, all night for 8 years. And my baby, completely out of diapers. High five. Not at night. She just one day. That was it. We tried for 8 years. Drove us crazy. We tried everything. Didn't work. I finally said, you know what? Just get out of diapers whenever you feel like it. Well, she did. When we got here, she stopped wearing diapers the first week we moved in. So I'm guessing this place has a positive influence on her too. Gerald is now a non-smoker, hasn't smoked in months. Very proud of him as well. So this place does have a good influence on us. I feel better, I feel lighter. The problems are starting to get slowly fixed when it comes to paperwork, although it's still not 100%, but I feel like it's starting to solve. This afternoon, somebody's coming to look at the garden because it is such a mess. It's so uneven. There are cut off trees everywhere, things to trip on, and there's glass and there's metal pieces and 50-year-old cans, and it's a mess. It's kind of a dump. So somebody's gonna come over and see if they can literally clear the whole thing so we can start over from scratch, which they first have to tell me how much it is, because I don't know. I have to figure out how to come up with the money, but it's Leah, hold on. It's impossible to do it by hand. It's just, there's just too much. So they're gonna have to come in here, I think, with a huge tractor and just plow everything straight, so we can start our vegetable garden and our orchard. And you know, I want to divide it in 3 gardens. One's gonna be an orchard. It's gonna be completely zen. It's gonna be in circles. The trees and the bushes and berries are gonna be in the corners, and then we're gonna have a fire pit in the middle and a meditation area in between the trees, the orchard. And then we're gonna have raised garden beds to put in our vegetables, because I have a hernia that I've had for many years now, and it's just easier for me if it's raised up than to bend over constantly. And then I would like to have an area for the children. I would like to make a little fairy forest with a playground for the children to play in. And I have these beautiful trees. I want to put fairy houses that I will make together with you. I'm going to try and film everything so you see how to make it, and put them in the trees so kids can go and look at the fairies. And I want to have a little area for some animals, small animals, just like a tiny little petting zoo. Maybe 2 goats, 2 chickens, my guinea pig, who knows, maybe some rabbits. Just so we can do touching therapy, because I would like my place to not just be for people who want to spiritually heal or advance. I also want to open it up for families with autism, who deal with autism. No, yeah, what are you doing? Stop. I think my daughter wants me to go and make lunch. Anyway, I'm almost back. Please hang in there. I'm going to try and continue the sessions next week, slowly pick up the pace, so I can catch up on everything. It'll probably take me a month or 2, 3 to catch up on everything. And if I feel strong enough, I will start doing celebrity channelings again for you guys on YouTube. I do stuff. For $3 a month, you can access my Patreon account, which has over 100 channeled messages. Basically, you guys ask questions about whatever in the universe, and I have spirits answer the questions for you. I've had Bruce Lee, Pocahontas come forward. I've had Jesus a lot. God's answered questions. So if you want more channelings, then don't be afraid to go check out Patreon. Just go to patreon.com and type in my name. I'm sure it'll pop up. $3 a month. You can quit any month. You choose. If you go 1 month, you read all the posts and you wait a few months, and then a few months later you go back on. You know, whatever your budget allows you to do. Every $3 helps us out, sustaining my family right now, and everything goes towards creating this beautiful place for you all to come and visit one day. Right now, traveling doesn't seem to be part of the plan because everything's restricted. But hopefully one day I get to come to America and have that live session in Vermont that I wanted to have. I guess we'll just wait and see what happens. Taking it one day at a time, but I wanted to let you guys know I am feeling much better. I gotta go make lasagna because this chick wants lasagna. Ooh, we gonna go make lasagna? Little Missy? Okay. So anyway, I'm gonna let you guys go. I just wanted to get everybody updated on everything, on what's happened. I know many of you are on Facebook and Patreon and have heard this before, but I know many of you are not. So therefore, there was the story. That's why I disappeared for about a year. Gerald and I have been talking about, I wanted to share that. That might be something new for all of you. I have not shared that with anyone. Gerald and I are, you can hate on my hair again, talking about joining forces. So Gerald, my husband, is an energy healer. He does it in his own way. He basically tries to help the spirit to let go and heal, self-heal. And that's his way of doing it. He's had great success with that. If the person is willing enough to surrender to it. But we're thinking about maybe starting June, maybe, or even May. I don't know yet. I have to talk to him about it. But we were both talking about joining forces. So we might offer intuitive healing sessions. Stop. She keeps pulling on my ponytail, my little booger. And so it would mean that Gerald and I would do sessions together. So you would first talk to me. I would tap into your energy and see what pops up intuitively, what I feel, what your energy is telling me, what might be energies you're holding on to, past things, past life things, or alternate life things. There's really no past or future. It's all in the now, but there is no time. That's just a human concept. So alternate lives that you have that might be influencing you in this time. It's just me reading your energy. In doing so, I always connect to your team. That's just kind of how it is. I don't talk to them like a channeling, but I know that the information that I receive is coming from them. Telling you what I feel, what might be causing your physical ailment, because every ailment, every ache, every pain has an energetic background. There is an energetic reason why you are attracting or creating this pain. And then once we have established where the pain is coming from, I then surrender you to my husband, who will then do a 45-minute healing on you. And then in the end, we can see how you've experienced it and give you some more advice to nourish the healing that was placed upon you, so you can then continue to self-heal more in depth as well. Because healing works, but if your mind, your attitude, your behavior that was creating it in the first place doesn't change, it will always come back. So that's the problem with energy healing. It is a temporary fix until the underlying energetic cause is healed. Gerald can help you with that, but unfortunately every individual has to do that on their own as well. So you have to, after the healing, you have to sustain it, if that makes sense. Anyway, it is important to, we don't stress it enough, but your energetic health is the most important. We always focus on the physical health, but the energetic health is everything, because the physical health is controlled by the energetic health. So we never focus on that. So it is so important, I think, for everyone. Gerald helps me all the time, but I'm such a stubborn ass, and I have a hard time surrendering to my husband in that way, that he helps, but I need to sustain it. Anyway, the more you surrender, the more you heal. It's as simple as that. So that's something we're playing with. That's something we would like to offer very soon. And so if you guys are interested in that, if you think that would be a good idea, write it down in the comments. Let me know if you think that's a good idea. And then hopefully soon, maybe June or July, I will be able to offer channelings again, private channelings. I will, of course, give priority to the people who were canceled in 2019 and 2020. These people get priority if they still want one. If they've had it and they're like, you know what, I'm done with you, that's fine too. I totally get it. I would be disappointed too, but unfortunately it is what it is. So that's life. And I always say readings will come to you when it's the right time, not when we think it's the right time. So let me know what you think of that idea. We would like to offer that together. Collective sessions, husband and wife. We're gonna give it a try and see what it does. And that's it. And I'm gonna go make some homemade lasagna. I know a lot of you are struggling. You know, I feel you. But we gotta hang in there. We gotta stick together. And know that we're only human. And it doesn't matter how far advanced you are spiritually. It doesn't matter how closely connected you are to the spirits. You're still human. And that's okay. It's okay. And you have to tell yourself that it's okay. I'm human. I'll be perfect when I'm in heaven, but right now I'm just human. And so no matter what other people will allow you to believe, how perfect their life is after they're connected, it's bullshit. I've talked to Jesus plenty of times now, and he always tells me the same thing. It's like, no matter how connected I was, man, being human sucks. So he even agreed with me. But, most leaders, most teachers don't want to show their vulnerability. They don't want to show their human traits or their human weakness, because they believe that they won't be valued as a great teacher if they show their humanity. I'm here, as Jesus told me, to show the truth. Spiritual awakening is messy. It is challenging. Being a human being is challenging. It is messy. And as we go through the process of evolution, of transcendence, we advance, we grow, we learn, In the words of Nelson Mandela, or I don't know if he said that, but I know he thought it. Freedom is in the mind. It's not in your physical reality. So that's where we remain free, and we will continue to enlighten people on truth, universal wisdom, and universal guidance. And one day we'll get there. One day. Might not be in my lifetime, but one day we will get there. So stay strong. Be hopeful. Focus on positive things. Focus on love. Focus on what you have and not on what you're lacking. When I feel bad, I just come out here and I sit here with my chickens, eating grass around me. I give them hugs and squishes. Watch the birds, listen to them, listen to nature talk, and then I feel better. So, amen to that. All right, I love you guys. I'm gonna let you go if I know how to turn this off. And I will hopefully see you guys soon. Love ya. Bye.